where to start with Yooka-Laylee? You know, I think the problem I have with this game isn't so much the game itself, but the fact that I can already read the comments before they've even been written. Playtonic's debut is obviously aiming to revive a time when sandbox platformers were the loot shooters of today. They were the in vogue genre, and every publisher wanted a piece of the pie. And in that regard, Yooka-Laylee is everything that the developer promised it would be. It's a Banjo-Kazooie, arguably more Banjo-Tooie inspired experience for the PlayStation 4. But with that comes caveats, from the often sloppy nature of its challenges right the way through to its sentient camera. And the thing is, with each legitimate criticism that I have, I feel like there's going to be someone hand-waving my complaints away. After all, I guess you could argue it's supposed to be that way, right? But here's the thing, for as much as Yooka-Laylee grew on me during my near 30 hours with the title so far, I do think that there are issues worth bringing up. The game goes for limitless variety, most challenges see you interacting with the world in different ways, but for every enjoyable slice of gameplay there's a god-awful task waiting around the corner. It's inconsistent like that. So yeah, hey everyone, I'm Sammy from Push Square, and I'm going to put my neck on the line and review Yooka-Laylee for you. Much like the developer promised, the game's about as mid-90s as you can get without a cameo from Sporty Spice and a secret Tamagotchi minigame. The cast chats in a kind of classic rare gibberish style, and while it definitely grates over the course of the campaign, I can appreciate it's something that the developer simply had to add. The story is neither here nor there really, but basically a book has been scattered across various themed worlds and you need to collect its pages. These are the MacGuffins that plot your progress, much like Jiggies in Banjo-Kazooie or the stars in Super Mario 64. There's a hub world named the Hivory Towers which is fully explorable, and it's here that you'll stumble upon the game's 5 worlds. Some of these are better than others though. Tribal Stack Tropics, the jungle environment from much of the game's promotional materials, is a neat jungle environment with a surprising amount of verticality, while Capital Casino is bland in comparison. It's a flat, open floor casino that sees you collecting coins to trade for pages in a manner that's reminiscent of Casinopolis in Sonic Adventure. In a nifty twist, you can expand each of these worlds from their base layout, but levels like Glitterglaze Glacier show perhaps how budget restraints have limited what the developer can do. Like, while Tribal Stack Tropics transforms into a sprawling metropolis, the Ice World instead unlocks access to the groan-worthy Icymetric Palace, a small isometric dungeon inspired by C64 classics like Head Over Heels. Now, the game even pokes fun at what a letdown this level expansion turns out to be, but I feel like the gag kinda falls flat when it turns out to be true. Now, to be fair, there are some fun puzzles to be found in the levitating snowy dungeon, but there are also just some truly awful bits, like a quiz which tasks you with counting the number of crates in the room. It's like, come on, you can do better than this. And yes, I know that the likes of Nightlore and Alien 8 are part of the fabric of Rare's history, and so the Icymetric Palace is merely paying homage, and I also know that quizzes were very much a thing in Banjo-Kazooie, but you know what, they're not fun. There's a reason why Ratchet & Clank doesn't just stop you and throw random questions in your direction. And I think that's the thing that I don't like about Yooka-Laylee. It's a beat-for-beat recreation of the old platformers rather than a rose-tinted nod at them. If you take something like Shovel Knight for example, that game's obviously influenced by the 8-bit NES games of yore, but it's modernised in a way that would never work on original hardware. It's how you remember 8-bit games, not how they actually were. Aside from the high-definition graphics though, Yooka-Laylee is literally a 90s game. And for some of you, that's going to sound like music to your ears, but you need to be aware that it comes with its own caveats, like technical performance issues and the aforementioned camera. I mean, look, Yooka-Laylee doesn't quite run at a Nintendo 64 authentic 20 frames per second, but it sure has its fair share of stutters and slowdowns, which frustrate in a platformer. The worst thing is that I've been playing on a PS4 Pro with boost mode enabled, and I dread to think how things run on the core console. And then you've got, like I said, the camera. Cameras have become so intelligent in more modern games that you don't even notice them anymore, but Yooka-Laylee wants to wrestle away control at every opportunity. It's annoying because it's constantly trying to frame the action in a way that you perhaps don't want it to, and that can lead to further platforming errors that frankly shouldn't happen. But that's how these games used to be, right? Right, and that's the thing. For every criticism I have of Yooka-Laylee, there'll be someone willing to tell me I'm wrong because the game's supposed to be a certain way. Look, the kart ride minigames are absolutely awful, but hey, they were in Donkey Kong Country, and the level design can be totally obtuse and it's easy to get lost, but you know what? The lack of hand-holding is how games used to be. I like the progression where you're constantly unlocking new moves that can be used in previous levels, but guess what? That results in ample backtracking, and the loading times are embarrassing, but hey, the game makes a joke about cartridges, so it's all okay, even though I'm playing the game directly from my PS4's hard drive. I mean, this is how the game loads on a PS4 Pro, and no, I haven't edited the clip to stutter like that, it's just how the title runs. And yeah, I've put 30 hours into the game and I want to 100% finish it. The arcade minigames are making me pull my hair out. I'm absolutely fed up of the Grant Kirkhope and David Wise composed soundtrack, but God help me, despite all of the issues I've outlined here, there's something about these collectathons that I absolutely adore. Ultimately, I think Yooka-Laylee could have been a little less authentic. It should have been a game that captures the nostalgia of a 90s platformer without literally being one. But these games are so, if you'll pardon the pun, rare now that if you have any fondness for Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, or even the likes of Jak and Daxter, then it's totally worth playing. Just be aware that you're going to have to grit your teeth a hell of a lot. But then, that's how these games used to be, right? Thanks for watching.